This is Fred Wall, the Visa Coach, and today's topic is, what is a K-3 spouse visa?
Visa Coach. Fast, easy, and personal.
I am Fred Wall, the Visa Coach, and I am known for the personal, one-on-one relationship, that we share. That's you, me, and your partner, as we work together as a team to overcome the many challenges of immigration. Don't risk your happiness. Don't go this course alone. Alone, it's far too easy for you to make the mistakes that cause tears, delays, and expensive denials. Do pick up the phone and speak with me directly so that, you and I can get to know each other. And this is the free consultation I talk about later. If we are compatible, that's the beginning of our beautiful relationship to get you all of the immigration approvals that you need. This is what two of my clients, Elizabeth and Tren, had to say. Tren comes from Vietnam, and I helped him get his fiance visa and his green card. When I first met my husband, I knew he was the one I would marry. But I knew the lengthy process it would be to bring him home with me to America. But I was determined, and along the way I met you, Mr. Wall. That made the process and anticipation much easier and faster. After only 6 months, my husband was on his way to me, and I couldn't believe it was actually happening. It's now a year later, and I couldn't be happier. We're going now on almost a year of marriage, a home in just a few short weeks. Lord only knows what's in store in the near future. You guys are certainly welcome. Now, let's talk about K-3 spouse visas. In order to bring one's foreign-born spouse to the USA, the American citizen, or in this case, a lawful permanent resident, applies for a spouse visa. Originally, there were two different spouse visas that were available. The CR1 Visa, if the marriage had lasted already over 2 years, and the CR1 Visa, if the marriage was less than 2 years old. Around 2001, it came to the attention of Congress that while married couples had to wait about 2 years to get permission to start their lives together in the USA, couples that were not yet married, who only intended to marry, were able to receive their visas much, much faster. It seemed to Congress that Americans who had made solid marriage commitments were being penalized, having to wait so much longer than what the fiance visa process offered. So Congress suggested a solution. This was a hybrid visa that was, half fiance visa and half spouse visa. And this became the K-3 spouse visa. So at that time, while regular IR1 and CR1 spouse visas were taking 2 years, the K-3 cut the waiting time in half to only about a single year. Now, the process to obtain a K-3 visa combined the steps needed to apply for a regular spouse visa and the steps needed to apply for a fiancé visa. Actually, it doubled the work for the applying couple. First, a couple applies for a spouse visa following all the regular procedures one would use, and they apply using the I-130 form. They wait until receiving confirmation from USCIS that the I-130 is in process, then immediately submit a second petition, this time using the I-129F form, which is normally used exclusively for fiancé visas. Now there's two separate but fairly identical petitions submitted and in process at USCIS. If the two petitions were submitted close upon the heels of each other, the I-129F petition would be approved first. It goes through faster, then passed on to the National Visa Center and arrive at the consulate for issuance of the K-3 visa about a full year faster than a CR1 or IR1 visa. The K-3 visa, when issued, then allows the foreign spouse to enter and exit the USA for up to 2 years and permit the spouse within those 2 years to apply to adjust status and obtain permanent residency. So the K-3 was a stopgap method that doubled the work but halved the waiting time. It became a popular choice. But fast forward about 13 years to 2013. By 2013, U.S. immigration was now doing a much better job in processing the regular IR1 and CR1 spouse visas. No longer was it taking 2 long years. Instead, processing times were reduced to about only 1 year. And 1 year is about the same amount of time that was needed for the hybrid K-3 visa. So the K-3 visa was invented to compensate for slow processing times of the regular spouse visas. By 2013, the original problem was, well, apparently solved. Regular spouse visas, then and now, are being processed in a reasonable time frame of about 1 year. The K-3 no longer has a speed advantage. In essence, that means the K-3 no longer is needed. Well, basically, problem solved. But the K-3 visa is still on the books. The Department of State has not removed it as an option from the list of available visas. And who knows? It might be needed later in case regular spouse visa processing slows down again. In the meantime, the Department of State doesn't want to process the K-3 visas, and in 2013 announced an official policy that serves to make the K-3 visa almost impossible to get. As described earlier, the K-3 application process requires 2 petitions submitted to USCIS. Previously, the I-129F K-3 petition had a speed advantage over the regular I-130. But, well, that's no longer the case. Now, both petitions are being processed at USCIS just as quickly. Now, Department of State's new policy is that the Department of State would only process whichever approval was granted first. If I-130 was approved first, then it's an IR1 or CR1 visa to be processed. If the I-129F was approved first, then the K-3 would be processed. But you know what? This race is fixed. The new, more efficient USCIS processing virtually always approves the I-130 first, or, more frustrating, both on the same day. And I-130 first, or ties, result in the regular spouse visa being processed, and the K-3 request being, well, ignored and discarded. This has caused a huge decrease in the number of K-3 visas actually issued. 3 years after creation, by 2004, almost 14,000 K-3 visas were issued compared to 44,000 IR1 and CR1 visas. But in 2015, there were approximately 108 regular IR1 and CR1 spouse visas approved and only 182 K-3 visas. So while a very small handful of K-3 visas are still being issued, for most, it's hardly worth the extra effort and cost to apply for the K-3, knowing that the chances of it being eventually issued are minuscule compared to simply applying for the regular spouse visa. This was Fred Wall, the Visa Coach. Now please like or add your comments to this video, and then go to VisaCoach.com and sign up for the VisaCoach monthly newsletter. Each month, it's full of tips and advice on immigration, and it's free of charge. Now finally, when you are ready to get started, call me for your free consultation and speak with me directly.
Before starting your immigration adventure, before entering an arcane maze of rules, regulations, and procedures, before committing yourself to a risky path that could mean an end to your happiness, speak with the Visa Coach and ask for his free consultation. He listens to you to learn the red flags and strengths of your case, your eligibility and goals. He will suggest which visa is right for you, the best strategy to get it, and how soon your love can join you. The friendly advice and wisdom he'll freely share with you might make the difference between approval and denial, and could save you months or years of loneliness and separation. What have you got to lose? Book your free consultation today.